we're going live. It's doing a little swirly thing, and yeah, now it says we're live. Hey, how about that? Yay!
So we live.
Ish.
For real this time.
Maybe.
Live-ish.
Live-ish. Where my headphones at?
Do I need to send the link out to the people?
Oh yes.
Just
Hold
let
on.
them know.
I'm trying to make sure that this actually works. Cause I'm about to unplug my headphones and plug it into this thing.
Yeah.
To make sure that we're sounding okay.
All right. Test it on out, man. Test it on out.
I'm waiting for it to pop up on my phone. Because as you can see, it's just
Yeah.
loading. And it's with the delay. Yeah. Okay, so hang on. Unplug my headphones. I'm still echoing.
It's still echoing.
I don't know why I'm echoing.
Is it open somewhere else, possibly?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I see where it's opened at. Okay, now we're good. I know. Okay, the first time it was doing it, it was because of the my feed was being corrupted. This time is because I had my mic open up both on Skype and on OBS.
Got you.
That's what the issue was. So hold on, double test. Yes. Okay, we're good now. Yay!
Are we good? You said
we are good. We are good. Okay, Marcus, if you want to restart this while I get this link together and we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go post it up and let them know that we live again.
Yes.
I'll do
So
that.
greetings, salutations once again. We are live.
Once again.
Live. For the take two.
Take two.
Yeah, so I apologize. That was my fault. First time. Again, what I said. The first time my footage, my side was corrupted, and it was doing that on a toy review that I was filming before we started doing all this. So that part is my fault. The second time, yeah, I had my mic open up on two different apps, and yeah, that's my fault again. So shit happens. That's the random occurrence, or should I say the random annoyance?
The random annoyance. Yep, I like that.
Okay, so I'm sending stuff out, so bear with us. We are live for take two. Let me make sure I tag you.
Join us now. Comment with us. Comment. All of this stuff is what we're doing, guys. This is how this works. Like we do it on Facebook. We got to post it out. So if you listen to this, you know what I'm saying, on the podcast, you're like, what are they doing? Yeah, this is what we're doing. We got to send out the link so people can watch us live and comment and stuff.
Yeah, I had some technical issues.
Your thoughts?
Okay. So Marcus, how you been? How was your day today? You know, you've been working.
Man, I have been working, dude. Like, you know, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like the days go by. You know, it gets a little rough some days. Then some days it feels like it really just pays off. You know. Today I would say, you know, it was longer than normal. You know, I had a couple extra activities to do after work, which stretched into it, but it was cool because there's free food involved. So anytime there's free food,
oh
you know,
shit,
I'm there.
free food, man.
Got to do it. You know, barbecue, man. Go with it. Got to go with it.
You know, it's hey. First of all, shout out to my boy Tavari Rice, T-Man 978. He just says, just do that. Don't do that. Just get started. Make me laugh. Shut up, T-Man. But I appreciate you for stopping by.
Yeah, always, man. Always, man. And congratulations again on that engagement, man.
He didn't get engaged.
Good stuff, man. That's not T-Man? No, that's the other guy. What's the other guy's name? He was with us on something before. He got engaged. But never like he's a Toronto Raptors fan. But yeah, he got engaged. Sorry about that, T-Man.
Oh, that's Taurus. I know who you're talking about.
Taurus, yeah. Tease.
A lot of teas. A lot of teas. A lot of teas. Okay, yeah. So now that we can get into this, we were talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine, and I don't think we need to even talk about him anymore because that's over with, done.
We talked about him, man.
We talked
We
about
did a
him,
lot
and
of
he's
shit.
done. All right, so you know we're more pop culture and everything, so we're not really
Yeah,
into. I try not to get into politics because it's so opinionated on everything, and some people are so pig-headed on a lot of things that it's kind of like you're talking to a wall. So I
right.
try not to even get into that. So I have a bunch of
Yeah.
news in for pop
New
culture. And
new
again,
news.
yeah, I've been writing shit down.
Oh, look, this guy got notes now. He got his notes. He's professional.
I'm
Let's
no,
go.
I'm just trying to make sure because I don't want to. Some of this stuff, like as I listen to it and I hear it, it comes up. So,
Okay.
Trav, what's going on in there streaming? I see your girls in there. Larissa, thank you for showing up. Appreciate it.
Hey, back.
All right, so here we go. Now, starting off with lighter news. Next
Yeah.
year there's supposed to be a Ghostbusters movie.
Oh. Yeah, I
Now,
heard about that.
I believe it's going to be in the later part of the year. They're supposed to start filming soon. Right now, this is supposed to be like who has signed on for it already is Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. Both have signed on for this.
Okay.
So we do have them here for this movie. Now, we don't know if we're going to get a Bill Murray.
Mm.
Bill Murray doesn't like doing sequels.
Okay.
And if y'all don't know, Bill Murray's a very unique personality. Now, for you, in order to like even get to Bill Murray, like you can't call him on the phone and get a script to him, email him. He doesn't do all that. You physically have to go to his house, knock on his door, and give him a script. That's how Bill Murray is.
He can do that. He's Bill Murray, man.
He's Bill Murray, and a lot of things he gets involved with. It's mostly like he gets involved with a lot of different pictures, and it's like random pictures. But a lot of times you have to let Bill Murray be Bill Murray in his movies. He improvises
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what the script says, he's gonna improvise.
That's
So
cool. So
there's
we
no
got Bill. So there's no Bill Murray right now, as of
right
now.
now.
That's
There's
what
no
you're
Bill Murray. Now
saying.
when they
Okay.
did the reboot of Ghostbusters with the females,
Yeah.
they had what was it? That was right after Harold Ramis died or passed away.
Mm.
So after that happened, like Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray, they all guest appeared in that movie. They all did cameos.
Yeah.
And that's they were okay. Bill Murray was okay with a cameo because he wasn't actually playing Peter Venkman, and they had to literally beg him to do Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand as an artist he doesn't want to do it. He kind of wants to be like, I'm done with that, and that's fine. But no, Bill Murray is like, we need him. We need him in there. But
Yeah.
I think the movie can still work. From what I've read,
They got Paul Rudd, right? Is Paul Rudd in it? I heard that Paul Rudd was gonna be in this.
Now, okay, there was like a make believe cast or a superstar casting that they were trying to do, like this whole fantasy casting. That's what it is. Like Paul Rudd was supposed to be a part of it. I think Bill Hader was supposed to be a part of it. Seth Rogen and somebody else I can't remember. But it was.
Yeah, I heard Paul Rudd was legit. Like I heard it on several sources. That Paul Rudd was gonna be. I don't know if he's gonna be a Ghostbuster, but I heard that he was gonna be in the movie. So
for this story, they, like I said, it's so deep into the closet, like we don't really know what the story is, but it's supposed to be like old Ghostbusters and newer Ghostbusters in it, not the females.
Okay.
Not saying that anything was wrong with the females, but like a lot of people didn't get there was some funny parts in that movie, but it was like, nah, it shouldn't have happened. Now, from what fans want and what I want, is supposed to be like they're supposed to go into the containment unit and fight in there.
Oh, okay.
So that's where that part is coming from. I don't know how much it's going to go into that. I think we're just sitting back and waiting. But T-Man's over here saying, Catherine, Travi, y'all saying it's going to suck without Bill Murray. Yes, we know it's going to suck without Bill Murray. But it may not. You never know. Um,
Okay.
recast. He old anyway. Yeah, we get that. Um, it's okay to recast, but I think what they were trying to do was, okay. Do y'all remember Extreme Ghostbusters?
No.
Okay, this was a
Please, bro.
cartoon out, and this was in the '90s. They did an Extreme Ghostbusters, and it was all new people, and they used like they had cameos in the animated series, cameos of the old ones. Like I think Ernie
I'll say
Hudson was like,
passing
yeah,
passing the torch or something
yeah, because I
like
think
that.
it was like either Ernie Hudson or Egon. So it was
Hmm.
either Winston or Egon was the one watching the containment unit. So I think it was Egon. They stayed in the firehouse and they watched the containment unit, and stuff
Hmm.
started happening. So like the rest of them kind of like came back and forth sometimes. So it wasn't like they were there. It was just like, oh, surprise cameo from this person. But the Extreme Ghostbusters actually was a pretty legit cartoon.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 Cool.
So
Stream Ghostbusters, man. All
Travi over
right.
there
Well, I
said
mean,
Extreme Ghostbusters was lit. Yes, it was. It was actually very. It was a, and one of the dudes was in a wheelchair, which was tripped me out. Like you fighting ghosts with a wheelchair, like you can't run, you can't run
I mean,
faster. Like
can they
it,
really hit them though? I mean, what can they do to them? They're ghosts. Do they? Will they
yeah.
just go through them? I mean, I don't know how that works with ghosts. I don't know.
So yeah,
But,
it
uh,
for a cartoon, it was like to follow the animated Ghostbuster series or the real Ghostbusters
yeah.
anime series to that. It was legit. It was like a continuation of the story. It wasn't no reboot or it wasn't no remake or nothing. No, it was just like okay, they're here, but they're old and retired, and we're gonna bring in new guys. And that's what Egon brought in was new guys. So
Okay. Cool.
um,
So, Rue, what did you hear? Have you heard about this new Joker news about how the people in Aurora are not playing the Joker in their theater based off of that shooting that happened when The Dark Knight came out back in 2012? You heard about that? They're not
wait,
going to
hold on, no,
actually
no.
show the movie.
Now
They're not going
when
to show the movie
now that wasn't
there.
was that you talking about like when Dark Knight Rises or the first Dark Knight with
The
Joker?
one with the Joker. The one with the Joker. Remember the guy with the crazy Ronald McDonald hair or
Yeah, I
whatever?
remember.
He
I
can't be
remember.
shot up the theater, right?
I remember the shooting.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was now what I remember is that shooting was that wasn't 2012.
Whenever the Dark Knight came out, that's
Dark Knight came
when
out about what 2008. I think it was Dark Knight Rises that had the shootout.
maybe it's maybe it was that one.
Yeah, because I
Nevertheless,
remember I was out of
whatever.
college already when the Dark Knight Rises came out. Like when I went and saw it, so it was like
Yeah,
2009 or 10.
yeah, right. Wrong year, but still,
But yeah, I get.
that particular theater is they're not showing the new Joker movie because of what happened there. So, and I guess in respect to that, to all that incident that took place, that they're like, hey, we're not going to show that movie. And Warner Brothers had this whole like little thing about it and wrote about it and everything. I guess out of respect for those families that lost lost somebody in that shooting. So, and of course the movie is also kind of violent too. So, and it's kind of hit too close to home for them. So,
You know what?
interesting.
And I'm gonna sound insensitive saying it, but that you got to get over some shit. Okay, I understand that was a very tragic moment. That was a very tragic moment. That dude walked right in there. I get it. That's the reason why they don't do midnight releases on these movies. That was at the turn of right around the turn of no more midnight releases. I think the Avengers movie was one of the last like major movies that got a midnight release because that
Hmm.
happened after Dark Knight Rises. So
Right.
I I can Google that real quick. Dark Knight Rises release, but yeah, it was
Hmm.
for them to do something like that.
Hmm.
You're kind of limiting, your the money that they can get for that, and
Yeah.
like you talking about, they're not premiered, they're not showing it at all.
They said they're not showing it, man. That's what they said. They're not showing that movie at that particular theater.
You were
Now, I
right. It
mean,
was
it's only one
2012.
theater. Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises,
It's not.
2012.
Yeah, it's not the. It's that particular theater. So I mean, it's not like a whole bunch of theaters, whatever. It's just that one. You know what I'm saying? Based on that one incident, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I saw it a few seconds ago actually, but I was just like, wow, that's interesting that they decided to do that. So, well, I
Yeah,
don't know, man.
I think it's kind of messed up to do that, but it's like it is what it is. I mean, that's their theater, that's what they're gonna do, and
Yeah.
if they don't want to
Like
show, I
they,
mean,
yeah,
it's not a midnight release.
Yeah.
If you want to up security and like, hey, we're gonna do this, yeah, because I mean, there's been other movies that have come out that could have messed that up. I mean, hell, you could have done that for Suicide Squad. Y'all didn't do it for Suicide Squad is Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
theatrical release was horrible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's based on that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's because it's the dude who did this was trying to, be like the Joker. Or, man, I don't know what he was trying to do, but I guess whatever the message of the movie of the Joker is, I don't know. I guess they just said, what, we're just not doing it out of respect. 'Cause they actually renamed the theater and everything. You know what I'm saying? For those victims or whatever. So it's yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I just thought that I just figured it'd be interesting to
yeah,
just kind of throw out there, people know what was going on. In case they didn't know that. News, just some new news. New news.
yeah.
Yeah, they
So
throw it.
you know what? And keeping on Batman.
Okay.
Okay, there's some new stuff that's arisen. Ha, see how that
Okay.
is? So
This guy. I see what you
so
did there.
so okay. Now Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is a
Yeah.
very talented actor
True.
who was casted as Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be Commissioner Gordon in this or if he's going to be like Gary Oldman when he started off as sergeant or lieutenant or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was casted as Commissioner Gordon, and I think that is probably one of the best castings you can do for a movie like that. Like I understand how serious they're taking the Batman now.
Yeah. It's gonna be legit, man.
So I'm like, oh, you got a legit, and not downing Gary Oldman on his take on Commissioner Gordon, not getting away from J.K. Simmons on his brief take on Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
But
Very brief.
It was just like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. You're taking a legit actor and you're race bending this character who can be race bended at any time, because it's like, okay, there's no deep history on Commissioner Gordon like that to want to go.
He doesn't have to be any race. He could be any race. He's just,
So it's I'm with it. Like if you were to take Commissioner Gordon and make Commissioner Gordon a female as well, it would still work, because that character can be race and gender bent if you need it to be. So I get that.
I mean, Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent. Don't sleep on it.
Billy D. Williams. You know what? That was one of the worst. Let me tell you. Okay, I stand by Batman 1 and Batman 2. Batman and Batman Returns are my favorite Batman movies.
Really?
Yes.
Surpasses Dark Knight to you?
I see, The Dark Knight is in a class of its own.
This guy.
Because I put The Dark Knight, I put like Civil War and Winter Soldier. I put those in separate categories. Like, okay, I don't want you to try to top those, because if you try to top those, the Joker is gonna be in that same category.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have good superhero movies, and you have the upper echelon of those. Yeah. So I know last time we talked about they were talking about casting a black Batman and doing a whole different story on that one. So that's down the road, an Elseworlds type thing. It's somebody just pointed out in there. Who was that? T-Man 978. Tavari, thank you. He said that means there's going to be a black Batgirl if they continue down this road, because
or it could be a mixed race. They may give him a white wife just to satisfy some people.
Oh yeah, they're gonna, and then people are gonna call him bougie, and they're gonna call him all kinds of coon and everything. Commissioner Gordon's black, but he's a coon because he got a white wife. Shut up. But yes, but going back to Batman and Batman Returns, I loved Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, because I thought about, like, man, that means if it gets to that point, we're gonna get a black Two-Face. And I'm a kid at this time, but still, it's like, man, we're gonna get a black Two-Face. That's cool. I mean, I get it. It's like I like Billy D as an actor, so it's like, okay, cool. And then we get Tommy Lee Jones. They recasted him, and we get Tommy Lee Jones. Now that's Joel Schumacher ruining two black actors in the Batman world, because he recasted Robin, because Marlon Wayans was originally casted as Robin in Batman Returns, but he never. they never used him because Tim Burton wanted to use him in the third one. It's like, you know what? We're going to wait until the third one. We just don't want to introduce you just yet. He still gets checks. He still is listed as a cast on there, so he still gets checks from that movie. Now, Joe Schumacher takes over, and they recast it and put in Chris O'Donnell. Once they put in Chris O'Donnell, now you got Tommy Lee Jones playing
Two-Face.
And that ruined everything.
Yeah.
I didn't like Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face.
Yeah, me neither. I did like I can't think his name right now, but the one who played in The Dark Knight, he was convincing. He was convincing, man. Like that was solid acting right there. I like that.
Oh, and I see on there we're talking about the soundtrack. Are we talking about the soundtrack from the first Batman?
Batman.
Prince? The Bat Dance? When he did a whole music video dressed as Batman and the Joker?
Yeah.
When we talking about Party Man?
Yeah, that was some good stuff, man.
That was the soundtrack. Scandalous? Bruh. Scandalous. I'm talking about you and me. Yes, Scandalous. Man, that bad. See, we don't have artists doing that no more. We don't have think about it. Okay. And
Kendrick did Black Panther.
Huh?
Kendrick Lamar did Black Panther soundtrack.
Yeah, hold on. This is what I'm saying. When you do a Batman soundtrack, and see, I'm gonna continue my streak on this show.
Yeah.
Prince did Batman 1. R. Kelly did Batman 3.
Gotham City.
And I still like the song. That song goes.
Knew R. Kelly was gonna come up in it. I didn't know I was gonna do it.
I didn't know, and I'm not down talking R. Kelly, or R. Kelly did the soundtrack to a Batman, even though it was Batman Forever, or it might have been Batman and Robin. Either one, it don't matter because it's either one. Or it's like both of them are on the bottom of the list. So it's like like hell, you put the old school Batman '66 Adam West movies over those two. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, so I like that, but also there's another casting that they're looking at, and that is in Mr. Jonah Hill.
Yep, Jonah Hill.
Now, and somebody said this, and they never elaborate on this because they said Jonah Hill is too weak to be a Batman villain. And I'm like, he got acting chops. Out of all the whole little crew that they run around with and do movies together, he has a lot of acting chops.
Yeah.
And he was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I cannot think of the name of this show that he did, just like mini-series thing on Netflix, man, where like him and was it Emma Stone?
Yeah.
Him and Emma Stone.
I know what you're talking about. I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't watched it.
It was good, man.
Yeah, and it recently came out because it came out this year.
Yeah, it was good. I watched the whole thing. It was good. Like, dude, like every time I initially think of Superbad, first off, I'm going to say that. I do think of Superbad first. But he can act. The guy can act, man. Wolf of Wall Street, he can act. Like, I mean, he can do it. Like, I feel like he can make the character his own. And he also directed this movie. What was it called? The 90s Kid or something about a skateboard.
The 90s Kid. And he was so enthusiastic about promoting that movie. You can see the legit joy in his face. Like, I get to promote this movie. I was like, bro, you're really happy about this. I love it.
The movie was good. It's on Amazon. It was good. Like,
is it on Amazon now?
Like, it's on Amazon Prime. I watched it.
I'm definitely gonna watch it. That's a weekend watch this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I see in the comments they're talking about Jonah Hill being the Penguin. You know what? Everybody is saying the Penguin. I don't think he's going to be Penguin because, this Batman movie is going to be, this Batman movie is going to be dialed back a bit. It's going to be a young Batman really honing in on his detective skills. Now, as much as we would like to see him as the Penguin, I don't think he's going to be the Penguin. Somebody brought up, and I forgot his name, and I apologize, but this was in my toy group, the Syndicate Toy Hunters, plug. They're saying Professor Pig. Now, if you know Professor Pig was a serial killer who used to cut up his prey, if you will, his victims. Yeah. He used to wear this pig mask. He was like, he thought himself as very high intelligent person above everybody else. Yeah. And, it's like, so this is like, he's more like a psychological person, not somebody like Penguin that's a crime boss, but more of somebody that thinks he's intellectually above everybody. And I'm like, Jonah Hill can do that. And it gives us another character that because Penguin's been done before. It takes a lot to do I don't want him to say he can better Danny DeVito,
Mm-hmm.
but we've seen the Penguin. We've seen 3 different Jokers, and we're about to get a 4th.
Yeah.
And this is just cinematically. This is like within the past 30 years. Okay, this not had, there's more out there, but like, and now we get something like, what if it is a Professor Pig and he has to go into detective mode and do all this and try to figure out who this person is. Now we got a crime drama movie.
I think that with it being that, I think that Jonah Hill, when I see him, I see Penguin. I feel like everybody just sees Penguin. And I feel like it'll be a role that people would accept more, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like just your normal crowd, going person or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Professor Pig, like I said, it was done on Gotham. I remember seeing that character on Gotham at some point in time. And it was good, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was interesting because I had never heard of that character until I watched that particular couple episodes of Gotham or whatever. But I think him as a Penguin could be good if he changes up the character a little bit. If he makes it his own and makes it takes it more seriously and not all costumey and, satirical or whatever like that, but just kind of just make it his own. He could make a cool Penguin if he chose to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But so I would rather see him as the Penguin because I feel like this kind of what people want. Overall, it would just make more sense. But him not wanting to be the Penguin, I could kind of understand because he's like, oh, so y'all just want me to be the Penguin because I look like this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like kind of messed up. But I feel like that's definitely kind of way if you're going to take it, you need to take that money, man. Go ahead and play the Penguin, man. That's what people want to see.
Yeah, we're at that point of like, okay, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna do this? I'm ready to see what they're gonna bring to the table on this.
Yeah,
because we have a lot of opportunities on what they can and will bring. Mm-hmm. No matter what we're gonna get, people talking about Jonah Hill is a comical character and everything. Yeah, he can do both. He just was brought out in comedies because he's friends with all those folks.
Yeah.
So, sorry if you hear that racing by.
Yeah.
There was a motorcycle. I'm right here by my window. Like my window's right there. So it's like I hear that stuff. And don't worry, I'm moving next month, and hopefully I'll have soundproof stuff. But yeah, it's him is there's so many options that they can go into that for bringing this movie out that I think I'm getting my hopes are getting increase or going up for this movie now.
Yeah. I mean, I see like if they going off of that story, The Long Halloween or whatever that comic book story, if they kind of basing it loosely off of that, and if they have multiple characters in there, you know what I'm saying, that could be good. That could definitely be interesting. So they was also talking about Jonah Hill playing the Riddler possibly. You know what I'm saying? So they was like the Riddler, but I don't want him to be the Riddler. You know what I'm saying? I would rather him be Penguin. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather him be Professor Pig or whoever over that, you know what I'm saying, over the Riddler. But it just don't matter. Like I feel like whatever he does, I'm sure it'll be good with him. The guy that's playing Jim Gordon now, like I feel like that makes the movie a little more serious. It makes it a little more dark and more, it takes a different step in this whole DCEU thing that they gonna, I guess, try to reboot and redo or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
I think everybody's anticipating on the Batman voice that he's gonna have to do.
Yeah,
I think that'll probably sell it, and I don't think we're gonna hear that Batman voice until the trailer.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting to see how he does that, like how he pulls that off.
Like I'm starting, like I said, I'm getting more and more on board with this movie, and hopefully, I'm like if they're going the route of the way the Joker is being written, they're gonna nail a Batman movie.
Yeah,
because all these other Batman movies, besides Batman 1, Batman Returns, The Dark Knight, all these other Batman movies have just been like,
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing that made the Dark Knight trilogy a good trilogy is because of the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Batman one sold it.
Batman Begins was like, Dark Knight Rises was like,
I did like Bane, man. Bane was interesting.
Bane, you know what? If they're gonna do another Elseworld movies, they need to do a Bane movie.
Yeah, Bane would be kind of cool. I would kiss.
And somebody brought
it up. And I want him to talk like that. I still want him to have that same.
Yes. I was born in the dark. You merely adopted it.
Good stuff. But yeah, he has to have that voice. If he has that voice at the end, I'm good. I'm sold on it already.
And somebody said it like, you know how they talk about like Batman and Joker are like the same person or whatever, just the opposite. No, no, no. Batman and Bane is more of like they are the same person, just two sides of the same coin.
They
They
had the same training. They went through the same thing. Only one chose to go for this and one chose to go for that. I think that when they talk about Joker and Batman, it's probably more of a philosophical thing.
yes,
You know, like I'm gonna do this thing to try to save the world, and then Joker's more so I'm gonna do this to expose the world and show the world, you know, how crazy it
yes,
is. You know, everybody's like me. Everybody's one bad day away from me. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? So it's cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah, um, and now we can switch things over to Marvel real quick.
All right, Marvel.
So I don't know if we talked about this, but I think Tony Stark will be making a cameo in the
Yeah,
Black
I
Widow movie. All right.
heard about
So there's no that's all it was said. There was no like whether he's gonna actually be it's gonna be new scenes, if it's gonna be old footage that they haven't used, because that's how they did Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman in Endgame, uh, when they went back to Thor 2, they used footage that they already had, so she didn't have to set foot in front of a camera again. They just used old footage that they never used.
Right.
So that's what they did on this one. They're talking about doing like using old footage. So we don't know if we're gonna be getting like, okay, a big theory is they're gonna
Yeah.
continue off of when Tony Stark snapped his fingers, and when he snapped his fingers, he goes back into the Soul World, and he basically exchanges his life for Black Widow. So that's the room. That's a rumor, like a big what if, like nah, nah. But again, we don't know.
Man, I don't want to.
Like you,
Okay.
yeah, we done teared up. We done lost our minds over
Yeah,
losing them, and
I
now
would.
oh, let's just bring it back real quick.
You know, I don't know how I feel about that. It seemed it'll be kind of. Oh no, sorry guys, just kind of tired. But it will be a little kind of tripped out to bring her back after that. Like
Yeah,
everybody, like you said, everybody watched her, you know, what I'm saying fall off this cliff and give her life up for you know Clint and everything, and now she back. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, like that's kind of tripped out. Like let her die, just let her death mean something. You know what I'm saying? Have this story set in the past because I heard that this story is actually placed in between Civil War and Infinity War. You know what I'm saying? That moment when they was like in between or kind of on a run or whatever. And that's when all of these adventures took place or whatever. And she dyed her hair based on whoever this new Black Widow person is supposed to be, like in remembrance of her or something about her and something like that.
well,
I got the
like
idea.
they were friends, and they grew like pretty much grew up in the red room or that room or
Right.
the wherever. Yeah, they grew up in that together. So
Yeah.
I forgot what her damn name was. But anyway, she was like everybody like because most people are saying like, oh, the other girl's supposed to be the new Black Widow. No, if you graduate from there, you're a Black Widow. That's what they're all called.
Yeah. They're
And
all called Black Widows. Yep.
yeah, so that's how that worked. And we don't. Uh, you're right. That's the rumor. It's like it was supposed to be between Infinity War and Civil War, and then it's all. They also said it's supposed to take place after Winter Soldier, and between Winter Soldier and Civil War, whatever. And then they're bringing
Yeah.
up all kinds of stuff. So we really don't know.
Yeah. I know that there was some supposedly deleted scenes after Civil War with him with Iron Man and Natasha talking or something like that. So he may be there for that or whatever. There may be like just some deleted footage that they show. Could be some new stuff. Don't know like that, man. But I do hope though that there is some other Avenger cameo. You know what I'm saying? They could throw Winter Soldier in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could throw of course Hawkeye in there, throw him in there just to talk about Budapest or whatever that was. You know what I'm saying?
Hawkeye is supposed to be in this movie, and they bring up Budapest in this movie. Like they're in Budapest in this movie,
Yeah.
so that part is happening. So it's it's September. We won't know until because we've already got a teaser trailer, and we haven't really got the official. Well, or was it an official trailer? I don't
Yeah.
remember. Anyway, but we
That's
still
wait a minute, official trailer of what?
Black Widow.
Official trailer of no, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it. I
Yeah,
would
it
get a
just
reaction to that.
it just that one just raises more questions. Yeah, that one came out around San Diego Comic Con
Yeah.
D23. It came around D23, so about a month ago, something like that, sometime in August, early August, something like that. So
Yeah.
We don't
T-Man says
know.
bring her back.
Yeah, I know. Don't trust me. I want to see Scarlett Johansson back. I'm not. I'm not arguing with that. Like let her be in
Only
the.
with the red hair. Only with the red hair.
Yeah, the blonde hair. Even though she's naturally blonde, I was like, nah. Like we don't want to see you blonde. We don't want to see you blonde in the movie. We'll see you blonde outside of the movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's different things that's going on, and we're just like Marvel. You take your break, understand, but don't leave us in the dark on too much, and don't just make us. They do this shit on purpose. So
Yeah.
let's make them guess. Assholes.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
but moving on to what Marvel else is doing. How do you people have been bringing this up, and I've been in random arguments. People have been messaging me. What do you think about this? And I'm like, stop. I don't care.
Yeah.
Now the whole backstory or the made up backstory of Professor X and Magneto, that they're based on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Now there really is no legit
Just,
truth behind that. Like there's no like sources behind it saying that this is correct. Yeah. This is no. There's nothing behind it. There's no one that confirmed that. It's just like we see that, like us with our third and fourth eyes. We see that, like it was like, oh, the Brotherhood is basically like people see mutants as being black people, and I was like, the Brotherhood is for the like the Black Panthers, the militarized, and it goes, and I get what they're trying to say, like, what?
I mean, there are some. I mean, basically, they both have both groups, like Professor X and Magneto, also have the same type of yin and yang as Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. They both have that same type of thing going on. So I mean, I get the similarities. I get the comparisons, but as you stated, there is no definitive proof that, hey, we based these characters on these guys.
Right.
Like nobody has said that. And I feel like somebody asked somebody this before, like one of the writers or something, and they said, no, we didn't do that.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But they could have been inspired by them, just didn't want to give it credit. Don't know. But nevertheless, there are some strong comparisons, but there is no actual.
Now, I do believe, I'm a strong believer that they created mutants, and not just, as a derogatory term towards black people, but more of like the mutant struggle as into civil rights. And I firmly believe that, because it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's very the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of the undertones on there is like, okay, we get what you're saying, like, and people aren't. I don't think people are really trying, like, as much as people want to dig into stories and what's happening. Like, you don't see that. That's kind of like clear as day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're a minority and you watch X-Men, you're like, oh, so y'all can feel sympathy for these make-believe, made-up creatures.
Yeah.
but then you look at, the minorities around you, and then you still treat them like crap. So I don't know.
So, Basin and T, you're right on that one. Like, you don't want them. I don't want mutants to say mutants are black, but it's like the whole civil rights fights and everything and all that, everything. It has that feeling to it, and and that's just good writing.
Yeah,
that's just great fucking writing. And they told stories, but they're talking about now, like, or the biggest rumors, and all the rumors that come out, there's like no legit source that says, like, comic book resources or comicbook.com or Screen Rant or nobody's giving a legit source saying like they're casting a black Professor X and Malcolm and Magneto. I'm like, there's no legit. Now if they want to race bend and do that, I'm not against it. But there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hurt by it. And I'm not talking. There's going to be a lot of people like, if they're going to make Professor X black or Magneto black, that means we can get a white Black Panther. No, it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Yeah, I mean, somebody said on something I was watching on YouTube that it makes more sense for Magneto to be black than it does for Professor X, because of his story. Like, Magneto's story is based on this whole, concentration camp thing that went down in, World War II type stuff. So moving forward, it wouldn't make sense because he would be like super old. So they would have to change up Magneto's struggle or whatever it caused him to look at humanity different. And that would be perfect casting for a black person, because somebody black going through some kind of injustice would cause them to look at humanity, differently. You know what I'm saying?
Now, when was X-Men came? X-Men came out when, the 50s or 60s? Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, I want to say it was in the 80s when they finally gave that Magneto backstory. They never had a
Yeah.
backstory on Magneto. Magneto just kind of existed.
Yeah.
And you know, they when they gave him that backstory on the concentration camp, it was because he was at that time that his age was like, okay, it makes sense for him to have
Yeah.
gone through the concentration camp. Okay, that makes sense. So you know, you're thinking
Yeah.
like Magneto had been around 20 years before they finally gave him a backstory on something like that, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. And it makes sense that if you change the race of Magneto,
Yeah.
his struggle still remains. Like he's still a character
Yeah.
that was developed through struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes sense. T-Man said right there the 60s. Yeah, the 60s. X-Men came out in the 60s. So you got, yeah, he was around 20 years before they even brought up his backstory.
Right.
So I'm all for it. If it's gonna make the story makes sense, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
There's just certain
Long-
characters. There's just certain characters that you really can't change the race of.
Yeah.
You know, you got like a Black Panther. You can't change the race of Black Panther.
Yeah.
Well, most of those characters in the Black Panther arc, where it's like, oh, they're from Africa. You can't change Storm into somebody.
Yeah.
You can't make Storm.
I mean, that's like trying to change Shang-Chi or whoever else. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? There's certain people, Mulan, anybody that's their story is based on their culture. You cannot change their race because it's not gonna make sense. You know, it's funny thing about all of this though is mostly any American-based character can kind of be any other race because I mean, America is kind of like the melting pot. Like there's nothing here. There's no real
Yeah.
culture here like that. You know what I'm saying? Like all the other countries have culture because they've had all these thousands of years of being. But America ain't been around but a couple hundred years. You know what I'm saying? So and it's a whole bunch of different races here now. You know what I'm saying? Whether they was here by choice or here by force. Nevertheless, we here. You know what I'm saying? So
like there's like when it comes to comics, like you got somebody like Batman, you can't change the race of Batman. You can't change the race of Tony Stark. Black Panther, those are three people. They're stuck in that race. I think you can change the race of Captain America, but I think because of how people feel about him, you know how they took negativity. Everybody was okay with Bucky being Captain America, but they're not okay with Sam Wilson being Captain America.
The assassin that killed Tony Stark's parents. It was cool with him being Captain America, but
by
not
Russians.
the veteran. Not the veteran that actually fought for America. No, okay, not that guy. But okay, okay, that's okay. All right, cool. That's
yeah. Fine. So,
that's cool.
But you know, like Captain America, like I believe he can change races. Like there's a lot of characters. Like you can Well, Deadpool's Canadian, but you know, Deadpool can be any character, any race, really. Deadpool has been almost other. He's been a whole nother woman. So it's like there's certain characters that you can race bend or even gender bend, but it can, like they brought up the fact that like the Ancient One was originally Asian, and they bring in Tilda Swinton on that one, and the reason behind it I didn't know until recently. They said the reason behind it was they wanted to get away from that old arc on like how that was supposed to be. It had to be an Asian person to do this and blah, blah. I was like, they were trying to take some racial tension away from that. I was like, I get that. Y'all got some backlash, but I get where you were going. You know, that's the reason why M'Baku wasn't named Manape in the movie. Like his name is Manape in the comic season, goes by Manape. But they didn't want to put that in the movie because they knew they were going to get some backlash. And I'm like, because the people don't read.
I mean, yes, Bucky and Sam were both vets, but one of those guys turned into an assassin. It was killing folks, American citizens.
Yeah.
One of those guys did not. So it makes more sense for one of those guys to be Captain America than the other.
Because think about it.
That's my whole thing.
think about it. It could. I'm gonna mix some movies up real quick.
Yeah.
What if Bucky was all well and free of brainwash, so they think, and he's over here judging the what is that, the 1988 1990 Winter Olympics, and he's judging bobsledding, and while they're sitting there And both those teams are going, hey, Jai, right? And what if that triggers his mind and he goes on a killing spree I'm just saying, cool runnings goes to cool killings, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, I like now, like what is it in the comic books? They had a Mexican chick as Captain America, America Chavez.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, she's Captain America. You look that up, bro, because they had Peggy Carter as
yeah,
the
Peggy
what if.
Carter's the what if. Yeah, the what if. I think that's what she's gonna be.
Let's see. They went with Sam because he was Cap in the comics more recently. Yes, that's the reason why. But
Yeah,
in also, Falcon was created before Bucky,
yeah.
or at least in the comic books, he was Falcon has been around longer than Bucky Barnes because took some years before they discovered Bucky, whatever he was the Winter Soldier or whatnot. So Falcon was around and teaming up with Cap longer than Bucky was.
So are they making Bucky the White Wolf? I think he's just gonna stay the Winter Soldier. Or they may give him another name. I don't know. They may just call him Bucky or something. I don't know. It's just,
I
but
think we won't know until that show comes out.
yeah, when that show comes out on Disney Plus, I guess that'll be the answer to that question. Cause I don't know. I just think that's what they called him in Wakanda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Try to give him a cool white boy name or something. I don't know.
Well, no, in the story, like he wasn't the White Wolf in the story in the comics. The White Wolf was an adopted white dude. Yeah. That was basically T'Challa's adopted brother. T-Man might correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember reading. And with him being the adopted brother, like he couldn't become a Black Panther, so they allowed him to become the White Wolf. And the White Wolf was, I believe, their secret assassins. Like there was, you have the Dora Milaje, but there was people above them. The Dora Milaje was just there in person all the time. I believe it was the King's Guard or whatever. They were assassins. They were spies. Mm-hmm. So they were always out doing other stuff, and he ended up becoming the White Wolf and leading the assassins and the spies. Okay. So that's what they were their secret organization. So that's why he was always doing that. But there wasn't too much of a backstory on him. But they called him the White Wolf. Yeah. In the movie. When they handed him the arm, they called him the White Wolf. Yeah.
The White Wolf has slept long enough. He's rested long enough.
So, yeah, we won't know. Like I said, we won't know until we get Disney in 2 months. And speaking of...
I got to count. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, speaking of what? You got to cancel
one
now?
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh,
no, I got to cancel one of those subscriptions so I can get Disney Plus in this place. I can't do it all. I got to get rid of something to get that.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, though.
Speaking of apps and everything, we have Warner Brothers that started HBO Max, which is actually they've already bought some good franchises. Like they bought the whole Big Bang Theory series.
Okay.
And that is like amazing because they paid like $250 million for exclusive streaming rights, I think, for the next 5 years.
To the Big Bang Theory?
Yes. And I'm like, $250 million, 5 years. And I'm like, fuck. And I think they got another series, I can't remember, but then you also got like somebody like CBS streaming. They have their little app going. But now they have NBC is about to launch its streaming service, and they're calling it the Peacock.
The Peacock.
The Peacock. And I'm like, all right.
2019. That's the name we're going with. 2019.
It's 2019. The Peacock.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I got you. That's your mascot. We got that.
Yeah, I get it, but okay. So I don't know what all these streaming shows gonna do, man. All these streaming services, because I'm not getting all of that. Like, I don't care about all that. All I care about is Disney Plus, so I can watch the Marvel stuff and watch Wall-E.
And they've already released all the stuff that they have, like, and people like in my toy community, they come in and they bring up the whole are they gonna release? Is Disney finally gonna release the box set of the X-Men animated series? And I'm like, why? It's going to be on Disney Plus. They don't need to release a box set. For what?
No, that's a waste. That's a waste of money in marketing. They can just go ahead and just it's on the streaming
You know,
service. Watch it on there
it's
anytime
gonna
you
cost
want.
like $100 to get the whole box set because it costs like $100 to get the whole Batman the animated series box set.
Mm,
So think about $100. You could use that $100 and get the whole year of Disney Plus. Now you get all the movies, which means once the movie is out of the theaters, it's gonna come to the streaming faster because think about when Infinity War came out in May, it didn't hit um, Netflix until
Netflix.
December, Christmas.
Yeah.
So we had to wait 8 months for that or 7 months for that. Now
Yeah.
it's like normally it's like it takes 4 months and the movie's out of the theaters completely, and then
Yeah.
we have to wait another, and then it's like on DVD from there.
Yeah.
Now we got 4 months. We may not have to wait. We may have it straight to streaming, and we ain't got to buy DVDs. Disney
Yeah.
is banking on the fact that we don't have to make physical copies of anything anymore.
Yeah.
You're gonna want the streaming service. Everybody's gonna want the streaming service.
Yeah. They got good stuff, man. They got good stuff to sell.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting. It's gonna be hard to look at that, and like now with these other streaming services like NBC, they're talking about rebooting a lot of old shows. What shows, you may ask? Let me give them to you.
Uh,
They're gonna reboot Punky Brewster because
I'm not
everybody
interested in any of that. I'm not interested in
Like-
any of that.
like everybody's really wondering what the fuck is Punky Brewster doing right now. This show
Nobody
came out in
cares.
the 80s. Nobody, it's 30 years
Nobody-
later. Nobody gives a fuck what Punky Brewster's doing right now.
Yeah, I just feel like that's a waste of time, man. I just feel like everybody want to get in on this streaming stuff, man, and all these other shows, all these other little networks only have a couple things. You have to have movies and TV.
Hold
If
on,
you
hold on.
don't, if you
There's
don't
another
have
reboot.
both of that, another reboot. That's
Saved
gonna be
by the
crazy.
Bell.
But go ahead.
Saved
No.
by the Bell. And
They've
here's
done
the
too many of
backstory.
those.
Here's the backstory of Saved by the Bell. Zach Morris becomes the mayor. And I'm like, do y'all not have shit to do?
Yeah.
So there's that. They're talking about
Gotta shake,
rebooting.
bro.
They're talking about rebooting Battlestar Galactica. Now, there's a lot of fandom behind Battlestar Galactica, and now with the updated technology, I think it would work.
hmm
But I'm not one of those people that watched it.
Nope. I don't think I'd watch that one either. I've heard of it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so it's just all this stuff. Like, you know, we heard about, like, okay, they're talking about remaking the movie Face Off. Do you remember
who?
Face Off?
Yes, I remember
They're
Nicolas
talking-
Cage.
They're
and
talking
all
about
that, yeah.
doing it again with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. I'm like, no.
How many times can you take your face off?
Now, if nobody remembers this movie, Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. First of all, Nicolas Cage rarely says no to a movie.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage and John Travolta played a good cop and the bad guy, and they ended up switching faces for one of them to go undercover. So I believe Nicolas Cage was the good guy. Was Nicolas Cage the good guy? No, Nicolas Cage was the bad guy, and John Travolta was the good guy. And John Travolta ended up taking his face off to go undercover as Nicolas Cage. And then Nicolas Cage comes back out of his sedation or whatever, and he was like, oh, well, give me the face of John Travolta. And now he goes and becomes this bad good guy cop, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, the movie premise itself and all this other stuff was horrible. Them two just acted the hell out of that movie and made it better than what it should have been.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see this.
Right.
I don't want to. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
You know, do what you want to do, but I'm not gonna watch it. They're talking about remaking The Princess Bride. I'm not sure if you've seen The Princess Bride.
I'm trying to think, man. I heard of it. I don't.
This
I don't
is
know.
late '80s. This has got Carrie Elswell, the dude that played Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. They can do that again. That would be funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind another Robin Hood Men in Tights. I still watch that. That's still one of my top favorite movies. But it's Princess Bride is about a guy. I believe and I haven't seen it in a while. Somebody's probably gonna tell me, but they're not even like continuing the story. Because if they continued the story, I would be all for it. Like, oh yeah, do that. Because some of them are actually still alive. Let's do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're gonna reboot the whole thing. And I'm like, why? Why reboot the whole thing? Like, why remake the like? It was perfect the way it was. It was a cult classic, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, with the cult classic, with something like that, it was great acting in this movie. There was great lines. There was great scenes. There was great everything in this movie. It's just basically about a guy. I believe it was a father telling his son a bedtime story, and that's where this whole story came along. Or his grandfather, somebody telling him basically like a story being passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So this is what it was. Basically, the movie was about a story, and I was like, okay, that's cool. It was a good movie if you just watched it, but it was like, I don't want you to remake that. Like, leave it where it's at. That's like them want to recreate the movie. Oh, do you remember Little Monsters?
Yes, I do remember that. I remember Little Monsters. Little Monsters was kind of cool, man. It was his what's his name? The guy that played on the Wonder Years. I don't know.
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage. Yeah, Fred Savage. That was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I do remember Little Monsters. That was good. Little Monsters was good.
Yeah,
I see a lot of people commenting on our thing here also. Yeah. Have some people saying what Kay talking about, gotta shake some buns for Disney.
Yeah, you got to. Disney gonna make you shake them buns.
Yeah, they're gonna make you get your money. They're gonna make you work for it. Oh, everybody, get in a group. Everybody get one app. Sharing is caring.
Hey, I understand that.
Yeah, I get that. I'm down for that as well. Also, just the fact of, have to be careful though, because they are gonna try to crack down on them sharing your login thing. They're gonna get them every time we find a loophole. They're gonna try to close that loophole.
Yep.
But as long before they close it, let's go ahead and get that down. Let's go ahead and do it.
And you got to make sure you do it with friends that you're not and nobody you're dating, because then when you date, then you got to change the password, or somebody's gonna forget the password. And you got to make it an easy password, and then you got to make sure that if you break up with somebody, like, okay, everybody, I'm changing the password. So and so has it.
Horrible. Why don't they want to remake? Oh, they do want to remake Green Lantern. J.J. Abrams just took over. Yeah, J.J. Abrams just took over a whole huge deal for WB, and so that's the guy who pretty much just redid Star Trek a few years ago and everything. So I think he's gonna go for that Green Lantern eventually, and possibly do a new Superman as well.
He is exclusively under Warner Brothers now.
Warner Brothers, yeah. So for like 5 years or so. So it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. But I think we got some good things coming our way for the DC realm. Now, so let's go ahead.
Here was the deal with J.J. Abrams. He had a contract with Apple for like Apple TV, Apple Movies, or whatever that they're doing for their own little stuff, and he took less money to go to Warner Brothers and be exclusive with them, only because they have more IP over there.
Yeah, they own everything. They own all of their characters and everything. You can do everything you want with those characters. So you like, I can.
It's not even with the superheroes. Man. It's not even with the superheroes. It's just the other properties that they own too.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff over there, man. So we know he's already at least written a Superman script before, already in the works to do a Superman before. So hopefully he does Superman. But I think he'll probably more than likely do Green Lantern before Superman.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the Green Lantern Corps. So they're going to bring all of them in, like John Stewart, Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, whatever his name is, and a couple other. They're going to bring them all in.
Yeah, so it should be good, man. That should be cool.
So I'm excited to see if J.J. Abrams is doing it, and if J.J. Abrams is doing it with Green Lantern, and how J.J. Abrams like to work with anamorphic lenses, and this is for all you tech geeks out there, Andre Wilson, anamorphic lenses, go look it up and Google it. It's going to look amazing. If you remember how Star Trek looked, he used anamorphic lenses in Star Trek, those Star Trek remakes.
Yeah.
So it's the way he's going to be able to do it, it's going to look amazing with Green Lantern Corps out of space. Oh, speaking about that, I think he's also going to help with, the Black Adam movie is going to come out next year. They're about to start filming on that. And Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, his studio, $7 Entertainment, is producing that.
That should be good.
Yeah.
That should be cool. Curious to see some more about that Black Adam.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about that one too, because Shazam was a very under radar movie that just came out and blew up like out of nowhere because it was a good movie.
Shazam was great, man. I feel like it did not. I know what happened to Shazam. I know exactly what happened to Shazam, them in-game tickets went out the same week Shazam came out. And that's where everybody buying them in-game tickets, trying to get that in. Man, Marvel undercut Shazam so bad with that, man, because people would have went to go see Shazam. They definitely took a good $30-something million away from Shazam opening weekend. That must should have made at least $80 million. But it didn't because, those in-game tickets, so pre-sale tickets dropped the same week Shazam came out. That's what got it, man. And that kind of hurt it. But Shazam was good. If you haven't seen Shazam, go check out Shazam, man. That was a good movie.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's gonna have their own app. Everybody's gonna need to get their own app. And YouTube, like T-Man saying, the YouTube TV has cracked down on that one. You have to basically be in the same household.
So, you don't need YouTube TV, people.
You do not need. And I already know that's the first one that's going away from you. That's the first one you're getting rid of. Like, well, been good.
I'm gonna get rid of that. Get Disney Plus. Save a couple bucks.
There you go. Kids can watch Disney Plus all day. They ain't got to watch YouTube TV. Mm-hmm. So, hey, T-Man, appreciate you stopping by. Good night.
Oh, yeah, man. Take it easy, man.
So,
rest well.
So, that's all. I mean, and then, of course, before we leave, they're talking about remaking New Jack City.
They don't need to remake that. It's going to be corny. They ain't going to do it right, man. I don't think they're going to do that right. They're going to make it corny, man, and it's not going to be what's up. They're going to get some real legitimate actors for that, and I don't think they're going to do that. So, yeah.
Before we go, there's some stuff. I was listening to an interview with Rick Baker. If you don't know who Rick Baker is, Google him, look him up. Rick Baker is one of the pioneers, most used people in movie effects. What movie effects? He's the one that made Eddie Murphy into Randy Watson. He is the one that made Eddie Murphy into the Clumps. This man is the one that did American Werewolf in London, I believe. And that werewolf transformation, he's the responsible for that. He's the one that created the cantina scene in Star Wars. He is known for a lot of stuff and is world-renowned, one of the top people in effects. Side note, when he talked about the Clumps, you remember the whole dinner scene that they did? When it was just all of them, they're just going back and forth?
Yeah.
They were not going to put that in the movie. They were not going to put that in the movie because they said it was going to take too long to shoot. And they were going to cut out a lot of it. And then Rick Baker had to go and tell them, film Eddie Murphy coming into that character. Like, he just started putting the makeup on him to make him the mom. And he just started coming all up with all kinds of stuff for it. And once they did that, said, okay, we're going to put this scene back in there. Now, looking back at it, it was like, man, they didn't want to do it because they knew it was gonna take too long because he had to be in each suit. They were talking about using different actors for each person, and like, he is him in each suit, but it's gonna take too long because he's gonna have to film each part every day. So it's gonna take it's gonna take a few weeks just to shoot that one scene. Yeah, they made it work. Now they wanted to do the whole Professor Clumps 2 or Professor 2, and they wanted more of that interaction. Yeah. And he brought up the same thing. It's going to take too long to shoot that movie. So the same issue on why they didn't want to shoot it is the same issue why it's bad to shoot it in the second movie. But Rick Baker is the reason why that happened, because he was Ryan Reynolds before Ryan Reynolds leaked that Deadpool trailer that they made. Yeah. He was the reason why we had the Clumps.
Okay. A little bit of history there for you folks there. All right. That's good stuff right there, man. I think it's about our time on here tonight. About our time, man. So, again, guys, you know what I'm saying? Do you at all times, man. Just do you. Make sure that you're living according to whatever the purpose is that you have set for yourself. Know that juice is temporary. Know that sauce is forever. Know that you are blessed. Know that you are loved. Alpha size, man. I'm out.
And no matter what you do in this world, no matter what you do in life, be great at it.